I have 7:02. So at this time, I'm going to call the meeting to order and welcome everybody to the North Coventry Township Board of Supervisors meeting of March 8th, 2021. This meeting marks the 1-year anniversary of our last meeting in person, which was our first meeting in March last year, March 9th, technically. So it's been a whole year that we've been separated, but I certainly think, even though not perfect, the Zoom platform has served us pretty well. So at this time, the board has the meeting. Before we do that, let me just introduce the board members who are on the call. Myself, Jim Marks, serves as chairman. Rick Sheeler serves as vice chairman. Present tonight are supervisors Harvey Greenwald, Spencer Claypool, and Rebecca Elliott. Our township manager is on the call as well, Erica Badorf, and our township solicitor, Dan Sager, is present here on this call. So to my fellow board members, you have the meeting minutes of the February 22nd, 2021 meeting. Do I have any comments or corrections on the minutes? Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of February 22nd, 2021?
So moved.
Spencer makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Rick seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the minutes are approved. We have unpaid bills totaling $68,938 and have a list of paid bills and payrolls since our last meeting totaling $125,333. Do I have any comments or questions on the bills? Hearing none, do I have any comments or questions on the bills from the audience? The agenda and the list of bills were posted to the township website this morning. If anybody has any questions on them, please unmute yourself and ask your questions now. Hearing nothing, do I have a motion to pay the $68,938 and approve the list of paid bills and payroll totaling $125,333 items since our last meeting? Do I have that motion?
So moved.
Rebecca makes the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Rick seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion passes. All right, we have nothing under subdivision and land development. We have nothing under old business. So we move on to new business. We have a resolution to appoint Diane Garvin, who has been serving as a alternate member of our zoning hearing board. A resolution that will make her a full member of the zoning hearing board, as we had a vacancy this over the past few months. So to fill that vacancy, we'd be appointing our alternate to the slot, the open slot, the vacant slot to the zoning hearing board for a term to expire 12/31/2021. Diane is on the call. You may remember we interviewed her, I believe, last year at some point as the alternate. Does anybody have any comments or questions for Diane? All right, good. Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve resolution 04/2021, appointing Diane Garvin to the zoning hearing board for a term to expire 12/31/2021?
So moved.
Second.
Rick makes a motion. Harvey seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Jim, if you would, this time, I think, do we want to go through the process of appointing another alternate at this time, or at least get it out there that we're looking?
Yeah, we can post something on the website and on Facebook, advertising for the open spot. And Diane, thank you very much for stepping up and and fill in this position. We appreciate that you volunteer for this. I know you've had a little bit of exposure to zoning hearing back in the summer, to a couple of hearings that we have, but certainly appreciate your participation in this.
Thank you for the opportunity. Happy to be here, proud to serve.
Thank you. Fernbrook Lodge, Dick Franz, who many of you know is an architect. He's been working with us in regards to the Paravis Hall out at Camp Fernbrook. He's presented a proposal for professional services, including the preparation of preliminary design drawings, construction documents, final design, and contract observation and administration for a total cost of $19,100. These funds have been budgeted in the open space fund. They were part of our 2021 budget consideration when we did that back in the fall. Do I have any comments or questions from the board on bringing Dick on professionally? At this point, I don't believe we paid him anything, have we? I think he's been mostly volunteer in a lot of this work, but it's starting to amp up.
The only question I would have is that the 19,000 you mentioned, I believe, does that include the 5,100 for potential inspections? Am I reading that correct?
Yes, that is correct, Rick. Correct. That is inclusive of the $5,100.
That's something we would want to decide at some point whether we want, you know, the outside inspection.
Yes.
Any other comments from the board or any comments from anybody who serves on the Camp Fernbrook committee?
I think it's a move in the right direction.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay.
I will say this, Jonathan and I were out there on Monday and observed a few things that really do need some care and taking care of. And one of them is a beam on the front porch that is giving way, you know, through rot and everything. And that needs some immediate attention. And also there's gutter on the north side that's completely down. That needs immediate attention. There's some other gutter that's about to come down. So I don't think this is something that we should sit on. We should move quicker rather than slower. Otherwise, we're gonna have a whole lot more problems if something happens to that front porch.
Somebody gets hurt. We should tape it off if it's that bad.
I don't know if, I know I spoke with John, I don't want to speak out of school here, but we had some discussion about maybe putting a temporary support under it or something. At the very least, that's something I feel should be done. And, you know, taping it off also, yes.
Well, the maintenance issues are separate from what Dick Franz is going to be doing.
I only bring it up as if it's incorporated all in one contract, you know, the way it's written up in the design.
Okay. Well, the maintenance issues we need to address ASAP. I mean, there are hazardous and safety issues out there, and the gutter's coming down. Who would do that? Is that something we can do in the house, or do we need to bring in outside help for that, or are we just blocking it off for
I'll address the porch tomorrow, and then we're kind of waiting for things to dry, but I'm going to pursue quotes for the gutter.
Okay. Very good. Any other comments or questions from the board?
Well, in Dick's letter here, he says the existing front steps will be rebuilt. So it sounds like this beam is in that area. Is that correct? Or
It's in that area, but it's not directly related to one or another.
all right.
As for Dick Franz, he's helped us for many, many years, so I'm in favor of paying him. He's a good, loyal member of the community and a helper, so yes.
And as it was said previously, he's done an awful lot, you know, in grass.
For a long time.
Yes,
Been a
for
while now.
many years.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to ask for a motion to authorize the approval of Dick Franz's proposal as presented in the amount of $19,100 to be funded by the Open Space Maintenance Fund.
So moved.
Second,
Spencer makes a motion, Harvey seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
What's the process if he's working and he finds something above and beyond his quote that we can, do we just meet and authorize an amendment or a change?
Well, he would, and Rick,
Yes.
you correct me, he would present a change order.
Right.
Yeah, he would need to present what that change is and provide that cost and be detailed about what that is. But we could review that just as we are reviewing this now.
And the board would have to approve it.
Harvey, does that answer your question?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay, all right, Fernbrook Lodge outbuildings and the pavilion. Parks and Rec Commission has recommended that the cabins or the outbuildings in the pavilion be evaluated for structural integrity. They believe that documenting and understanding the existing conditions of these buildings, as well as adequacy of water, sewer, electric, and the accessibility needs will go a long way in helping with the planning and use of those buildings. LTL has provided an estimate in the amount of $3,000 to do that that study or assessment. This expense would be paid also from the Open Space Maintenance Fund and tracked against our budget allotted for this year. So do I have any comments or questions on this proposal?
I think it's a good idea. Nothing has been done with those buildings since I've been on the board for 8 or 9 years. And if we're going to move forward with it, we got to know what we'd be getting into. An assessment, I think, is certainly needed.
I agree.
I agree as well.
I would also agree. So at this time, I'm going to ask for a motion to authorize LTL Consulting to proceed with the structural assessment of the Fernbrook Lodge outbuildings and the pavilion in the total amount of $3,000.
So moved.
Harvey makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I heard Rebecca first, second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. And the last thing under new business is your authorization to approve the 1% merit-based bonuses for non-uniform full-time employees. The manager has completed the performance reviews for the non-uniform employees. All have met or exceeded expectations for the calendar year 2020. And the manager is recommending that these bonuses be paid to the non-uniform full-time employees. The bonus equates to an amount of $6,950, which was also considered in the 2021 budget. Do I have any comments or questions on the bonus approval? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the 1% merit-based bonus payments to non-uniform employees for the 2020 performance period?
So moved.
Oh, that was tight. I didn't get that one. Who's?
I'll take the second.
Rick made the motion. Harvey seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion is approved. Administration. After last meeting, I spoke to Erica a little bit. I thought it might be a good idea. In the past, when we did in-person meetings and department heads presented reports, we would have the opportunity to ask questions of the department heads or ask questions based on those reports that were presented. It's not something we've done through Zoom, and I think it makes sense to kind of add this to the agendas The reports were sent out by both John and the chief. So if anybody has any reports, let's do police report first. Anybody have any comments or questions on the police report for February that was sent out last week? Okay, I hear no questions. Matt, anything you want to add at this time?
Yeah, just a couple things. Personnel wise, we'd like to congratulate Paul Holliday for getting to the point in his career where he's entered into the drop. And then also with the full-time position going to Officer Templin, who started today as well. Actually, he just started 19 minutes ago for his first shift. So he's excited to be here, and yeah, we certainly congratulate both of those guys for where they are. Last meeting, I did mention about having the camera registry put out to the township, and we have been getting some forms filled out from residents as well as businesses. So that's a good sign, and that's also going to be included in the next township newsletter that goes out. So we're hoping that more people will become aware of that, and also take the time to fill up those forms and get them back to the police department. We are trying to update our Crime Watch page. Officer Vic McCheese has been doing some updating of our page, and we're trying to also use that as more of a posting for community notifications. Over the past couple of weeks, we did send out a broadcast that anybody who has access to that or is able to see that, got to see some of the broadcasts that we sent out there. But we're going to try to use that more often to make community aware of different things that are going on, and not just necessarily on the police side, but anything that the township wants us to send across. We're willing to put that on there, just another means to ship that out to the community. Other than that, we're just still working. We do have some opportunities that we're looking into to update our in-car cameras that we have, and then we also are still moving forward in the process of the obtaining the body-worn cameras for the officers. So those are things that we're working on.
Great, thank you, Chief. Appreciate that. Road report was sent out. Does anybody on the board have any questions on the road report? Hey, John, what, you had a tough year. This was a tough year, worse than several years now. What can you tell us about what you're looking forward to with the warm weather coming?
We're definitely hoping for an early spring. Anxious to get out on the roads and start repairing things. And we were due for a bad winter. It really wasn't a bad winter. It was a bad month. A lot of hours, and it was trying at times for morale, but we fought through, and we're looking forward to spring.
Okay, manager report.
My report this month is a culmination of activities that were accomplished in 2020, and also a few items that I am focusing on now for 2021. So what I'll do, I'll just make note of a few things, different data points here. And what I like to do is, at least we have this, and it's a good record on an annual basis of what the township is accomplishing. We know it was quite a year in 2020, but there was a lot accomplished by the township. We had 3 major retirements with Kevin Hennessy, Chief Bob Schur, and Rick Kirk, who I did not have a chance of meeting, but I looked at how many years he spent with the township, and it's truly incredible. So the township has really transitioned through quite a bit to get us to the point we're at now. We administered the budget process for 2021. We upgraded our QuickBooks to online. Our technology in the administration department, we replaced all our computers and our operating systems. The road department completed a few very important contracts. Laurelwood Road culvert, chip seal was still accomplished, and the fleet status in both the road department and the police department were maintained with acquisition of vehicles in 2020. as far as building and zoning, we had processed 3 zoning hearing board applications, 1 subdivision application, 2 sketch plans, and 165 permits. Even with the disruption we had with COVID and the closure of business, we still came right where previous years had been in terms of building activity, which was interesting. But that's a positive. We had 2 new dwellings built, 1700 Fernbrook Lane and 830 Temple Road. As far as emergency management and fire, we had a number of emergency declarations related to COVID, of course, the Ashwood fire event that occurred, and severe weather events. Grounds and facilities, we're moving forward with Fernbrook Lodge, but Barclay Construction completed the siding and window installation, as well as the Riverside Park and all the new playground equipment. We had a number of grants in the works, open space acquisitions that we've spoken about. We have 2 ordinance amendments in the works that we're working towards legislatively and multiple resolutions. Our advisory boards and committees have remained engaged. Everyone has continued with the Zoom process and is still continuing with all sorts of capital projects and different programming over the course of 2020 and into 2021. And as far as education and training, the staff completed first aid and CPR training. Our AED kits and first aid were all replenished and tested. We had signal control products do training for our new closed loop signal system. PennDOT has approved that now. And we've begun strategic planning for the township with staff. So that is something that I'm very interested in, and we have started that process. And moving forward, I hope to engage further with the board and committees and work towards planning for the future for the township. So with that, that's my report tonight.
Very good. Thank you, Erica. Dan, we'll go to your report.
Thank you. I have basically 2 things. I did have I think, a very productive conversation with the attorney for American Credit Union. They were very receptive to what we discussed, and as a result, they are having ongoing discussions with the Coventry Mall with respect to the master plan that we discussed and how they can be a citizen of North Coventry. So that, I think, we'll have more information as the weeks go by, but they did request an extension, which was not objected to. So for at least 90 days to allow them to have the discussions and then come back to us. I envision at some point you probably are going to want a staff meeting when the Coventry Mall is a little bit more on board as to going forward. With respect to Tripodi, I thought I would hopefully have an order today, because the interesting thing, I did get a phone call from Detective O'Donnell of the Chester County Detective Union, and apparently Ms. Tripodi may have been forging Mr. Turner, her attorney's name on documents. As a result, Judge Mann had requested an investigation, and they were both supposed to be there today. Mr. Turner wanted to withdraw, and Judge Mann ordered them both to be present, all 3, Jerry as well. I didn't get an order. I thought I'd have an order at least to show to the court, to the board as to what's going on, but I didn't get that today. He did deny their request for another extension to not be there today, so I know it did take place. I did do the brief, and I think it's very well written. I think you'll be proud of the brief. And I go through the horrible history that this case has gone through with respect to the system. So I expect very shortly an argument date, and hopefully that will once and for all resolve the issue. The only outstanding appeal is Judge Mann's contempt order from September 2020. So hopefully that's it. And I'll report when I get an argument date with respect to that. And that's all I have.
Thanks, Dan. Supervisors report. Becca, do you have anything?
No, I don't have anything tonight. Thank you.
Rick, do you have anything?
I'm sorry, did you say me?
Yes.
The one thing I would like to if we can, indulge the board. to talk about is when John and I met out at the lodge on Monday. It was to look and see about all the debris, and also Jay Erb was with us, to be totally transparent. And we went through the lodge and looked at all the stuff. And right now, John, you can speak in. It was indicated that the road crew has some time and they could, get in there and clean some of this stuff out. And there's things in there, oil tanks that are going to be abandoned. They have some oil in them. There's containers of fluid, cleaning fluids, just a lot of different things. Some things are going to have to be taken out by a hazardous carrier. And I think it was the desire of the road crew to try to get permission to expend some dollars to start cleaning it out, which would include dumpsters, money for the hazardous materials, that type of thing. So, John, I think you're still on, speak out of school, but that was, I think, what they were looking for. So,
And also, the kitchen, there's some items we're looking to address or maybe do some demolition before this project goes out to bid. Just looking at an opportunity while we have some time before we really get into our busy season. The kitchen, there's items in there, like we're not going to go with the old countertops. They're going to get replaced. Just kind of looking ahead and seeing what demolition or what items can we do as opposed to paying a contractor prevailing wage rates to do it later. So,
and I think this would be a benefit to the township cost-wise. Like John mentioned, we're going to be paying a pretty heavy prevailing wage, if we have someone else do it. If we have the time, I think it would behoove the township to do it, while we have the time.
I would certainly agree with that. How do you want to handle this? Do we need a motion to that effect or direction to that? Or is that an administration thing?
I don't think you need a motion if you have it already part of is it part of your budget? I don't know if you have. If not, then you probably should have something out there so the public's aware of what you're doing.
I don't know if this would be considered maintenance. I put together my best guess estimate at cost to address these items. Came in at roughly, and again, I like to try to be high with these things so there's no surprises. So I think typically in the past I've always overestimated a little bit, and it came in with approximately $19,400. If 3,000 being for oil. We have some appliances in there that no longer work, that have Freon in them, that we have to get that disposed of properly. Dumpster fees of 2,000, and then the rest being labor. I estimated approximately 2 weeks with 4 guys for demolition, disposal and cleanup.
So it's what, John, not to exceed what, 7,000, or is that what your total here?
19,400. I mean,
19.
yeah. Well,
That's why I'm a lawyer, not a mathematician.
Labor cost is that it's open space maintenance, so the labor cost is.
So it's up to the town. What you could do is put a cap if that's what you want.
Yeah, this has been put off and put off and put off and overlooked. It needs to be cleaned up. It is a problem.
And I feel it's certainly better to do it now before the contractors get there and get involved. And then we have questions about what are you doing with this or that. And, for when the contractors go out there to inspect the building in the bid process, they'll have a clean access area to get underneath. Because right now that basement area is almost
Impassable.
You almost can't get in.
Would the funds
Okay.
come base?
Yes. Right, correct, Erica, is that right? Funds would come out of the open space maintenance fund.
Yes, that is correct. Yes.
So
Okay.
this kind of goes hand in hand with what we just approved for Dick Frantz. If we're going to move forward with the design and forward from there, once we get the design, this is the very, very next component that needs to be done, is to get cleaned out.
John, did you
I
give
think-
Eric a copy of your proposal, your estimate?
I did.
Okay. And
It was
So
this
we-
afternoon. I'm sorry, it was a little late to her, so I don't.
that's okay. So we need a motion to the effect that not to exceed $20,000 for the work on John's proposal
And
And
the
to
funds
be-
and the funds to come out of open space. Correct.
and the funds to come out of the open space maintenance fund. Do I have that motion?
So moved.
Second,
Rick makes the motion, Harvey seconds it, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, a couple of big steps here. We're at Camp Fernbrook tonight. That's good.
Yeah.
Rick, anything else?
No, not for me. Thank you.
Harvey, anything?
nope,
Spencer?
Not tonight. Thank you.
Okay, and I have nothing. Public comment. It's a portion of the meeting where the public asks to comment. I'd ask that you, if you have a public a comment to make, that you unmute yourself, identify yourself, and make your comment.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's Charlie Walker. Hope everybody's well.
Hi, Charlie, how are you?
Good, thanks. So Jim, we were last on for the group at Circle Drive here in November. And just following up to see if any progress before spring. Daylight savings time's coming and April will be here before you know it.
Yeah,
If there's
for
any
sure.
kind of resolution or amendment that we could act on the RV situation.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Erica to chime in. She has done a lot of work and research on this. And Erica, you want to bring us up to date with where you are and what we
Sure.
need to move forward?
Sure, I did a analysis of the recreational vehicle parking of surrounding townships and comparable townships. Taking out areas that we have certainly urban environment, dense streets where these regulations do certainly exist. West Pottsgrove has one example where the regulation imposed for recreational vehicles would provide a restriction of 48 hours of parking on township roadways. I say that because that exists to help with, of course, there's an aesthetic part to this and a safety part to this.
Right.
In discussion with Chief Dykert and their analysis of the roadway, and on several occasions of conducting measurements and looking at the roadway of Circle Drive, the analysis is that there's no impediment to the safe travel of vehicles as a result of the parking of the RV. So looking at this from a neighborhood aesthetic point of view, a imposition of a 48-hour restriction or time limit is something that I have seen that has been included in ordinances that can move forward. Although there are some considerations we do want to take into account from the enforcement side. We have to think about how this will affect the entire township as a whole in looking at that, and the feasibility of doing that adequately with our zoning staff and with law enforcement. So I presented that analysis actually pretty recently. I looked at a number of different ordinances trying to find something that would be most akin to the situation that we're having here on Circle Drive.
I appreciate your efforts. So looking forward to your decisions.
Hey, Jim. Bill Sumas.
Yeah, hey, Bill.
Just to give the board some feedback from the PMRPC on a development of regional impact. It's called to the Coomer Track. It's in Upper Pottsgrove Township, and it's been on the radar for the past several months. In the first phase, I think it was the PMRPC gave them feedback with regards to open space. And now they're getting ready to set forward or set forth on track 2 or phase 2. And another zoning issue has come up with the township board in the Upper Pottsgrove Township with regards to the first phase. And all phases initially were supposed to be over 55 development, and now they're kind of backstepping on that, and they're going and trying to go in a different direction. So it's a significant tract of property that's being developed, and there are issues not only from a regional planning perspective, but also from within Upper Pottsgrove Township as well. That's all I've got.
Thanks, Bill. Any other public comment?
Hi, Jim. It's John Worth here.
Hi, John.
Couple of things I wanted to point out. First of all, we've got another EAC educational webinar scheduled for this Wednesday night. Justin Schiffler, a member of our council, will be speaking about pollinators and honeybees. That's at 7 p.m. The link I know you've put up on the website. Thank you for that. The other thing is I've been working with Erica, and I think John McKee has had some good input as well on a new recycling program that we're going to institute, kind of sponsored by the EAC, to collect and recycle plastic bags and plastic film. These are items that cannot be recycled curbside, of course. And if we can, in the next 6 months, collect 500 pounds of plastic film and bags, we will actually get a free park bench from the Trex Corporation, a company that makes composite or plastic decking and railing materials. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is I'm thrilled to see that we're getting the lodge cleaned up. That's a very positive step. I want to make sure that when we take a look at, in particular, the items that are in the kitchen area, anything that can be either donated or recycled, that we do that we are responsible about how we handle those materials. I mean, both from just an ecological standpoint, but also from a township cost standpoint, because if anything can be recycled, you know, sometimes metals, appliances, things like that, you can actually get a benefit from that, a financial benefit from that for recycling those. And I want to make sure that we do that if at all possible, rather than just tossing them into a dumpster.
I would concur. John McKee, is there anything that you observed inside the building that may have any value or be recyclable? Or
we spoke about potentially putting the old stove on municipal. Other items we looked at, you know, obviously we don't want to load things up and run them to RSI, or we don't want to prolong this. It's going to get nice. You know, we're going to have road work to do. We spoke about getting a scrap metal dumpster delivered for metal things. There's a lot of plates, pots. J-Herb was handling that. I mean, I don't think we want to get into cleaning, packing, storing, you know, hundreds of plates. You know, Jay was going to handle that. So, I mean, he was leading that up.
Yeah, I agree, John. You guys shouldn't have to deal with that. You're not movers. But again, I mean, I think anything that we can, you know, we can get any value for the township and the township residents, you know, let's try to do that, as well as getting it out of the landfill.
What's that, John?
We will definitely do our best.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
While we're on the subject of outbuildings again, Erica, does the proposal include the Stubblebine house? Is that one of the outbuildings that LTL is going to look at?
No, I do not have that included. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Very good.
I have a question for John Worth. You mentioned about the plastic bags. Will you have a drop location for those?
Yeah, we will, Rebecca. Thanks for asking. The drop location is actually going to be at the township building. I mean, that's something we're figuring out all the details. The collection bins are at the township building. I believe, Erica, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you want to place those right up by that side door, so it's an easy drop off.
Yes, we do have them, and we're going to get them situated. It should be very convenient for people to drive by and see them right away and be able to dispose of them there for the collection.
Very good. Thank you.
Nice chance for public comment. If anybody else? who wants-
John McKee.
Yes.
I know it's been a while, and I understand with COVID, road tour, virtual. What I mean, I think it's pretty important that we try to do something this year.
Yeah,
Whether it's,
We're not
I
get-
get it may not be in person. I think we might have to get a little creative with it, but I definitely think, it's something we probably.
well, give it some thought, get with Erica, and then you guys figure out how you're going to present that to the board.
Okay.
Thanks. Any other public comment? Hearing none. We are going to have an executive session this evening regarding personnel. So at this time, I'm going to recess the meeting. 25 people, I believe, were on tonight. Certainly appreciate you all attending our meeting. Our next meeting is March 22nd, 2 weeks from tonight. That will also be held here on the Zoom platform. So we look forward to seeing you then. So at this time, I'm going to ask you to all, except for our board members, so solicitor and manager, to log off. Have a good evening, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Okay, the board has come out of executive session. No actions were taken during that meeting. So at this time, we are going to adjourn the meeting. See you, everybody.
Night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good to see you.
You too, Spence. Take care.